Has this ever happened to you? You hire a web designer, he builds you a site, and then as soon as you've paid him, poof, he's gone. What are you going to do now? You have updates you need done on your site. Well, luckily, if you have this problem, we can help you. And Sean and I are here to talk to you today about what you can do. Hey, Sean.
Hey.
There you are.
Hey. So let's talk about what happens when you have the case of the disappearing web designer. And it's not an uncommon problem. People move on. People move into other industries. People move to other places. People just stop working. So it's not the weirdest thing, but it still leaves you in a bind.
Yeah, we hear about it happening all the time.
So what do you do when you're in that case? The easiest way to solve the case of the disappearing web designer is to find the web designer. Go back, use your old contact information, see if that strikes up anything. Go to LinkedIn and see if they're there. Go to Facebook and see if they're there. And if they are, strike up a conversation and try to see if they're going to help you. If you need access to your stuff and if they can part with the credentials that they didn't impart to you at the time that they left working with you. Next up to that, you can, if they're unwilling to work with you or they're uncontactable, then you can go to your ISP. Now, the problem here is a good ISP is supposed to have like a really thick castle wall to keep you and your assets, your credentials, your personal information, passwords, credit card information locked away and inaccessible. The good bad side of the dynamic, though, is that they are not immune to what's called a social engineering attack, where somebody will come in and go, hey, I need this, and build up something to establish trust that they are who they say they are. Now, that's something where a lot of them will work against or try to resist social engineering because they don't want somebody coming in and blowing through their protections and safeguards. But sometimes you have no alternative but to try this. So you go and you contact them and say, hi, I own this website. This is my website. You cite it. You cite probably the phone number because if you're calling from your business, they'll call the website's phone number, which will answer on that phone line. And try to build up something with them and say, my web designer is totally gone and I need some help. And that's where you bring in, where you try to escalate it through them. And every time they say, no, we can't help you any further, say, well, what do I do about this? And then try to get progress on that. And what happens is if you ultimately, you will get in and they will give you something. They may phone you for a confirmation step. They may email your address and that email should go to you. But if it doesn't, there are some, you can explain to them that you didn't get the email, whether your email service provider has gone. Like there were some in the late 90s that just completely disappeared in the early 2000s. And that meant that all those lines of communications were cut. Or maybe somebody registered a domain name 10 years ago and they no longer know anything about those old credentials. So, you hit these barriers. And when you hit the barriers, your way around it is you try to talk to somebody because some person will help you with the next step. If that doesn't work, then what you can do is you can engage a web developer to come in and kind of work on your team. Effectively, they'll come in, you tell them what's going on, where you can't get your assets, you can't get login, you can't do any of those things, and the web developer will take a run at everything we've just previously spoken about, but maybe able to shortcut it. Or maybe if they're working in the community, they may actually have a personal relationship with the person in question who's left the field. Or at the very least, somebody may be putting off a former client, but less likely to put off a web designer.
So that would be something that we could help folks with, couldn't we?
That is something we could help folks with. If you have a disappearing web designer and you need to get your stuff updated, or you need to get your stuff fixed, or something has to happen with your assets, that's something that we at WEB321 can help with.
If you're having a problem, give us a call. We guarantee we won't disappear on you. We're here for you for the long haul. So, Sean, if they want to find us, where can they find us?
They can find us through our email, contact@web321.co, our website, web321.co, or social. Twitter is web321co, and Facebook is web321co.
And so is Instagram.
And if you comment into this video down below and talk to us about what's going on, don't share a password. But If you do, leave a comment about what's going on. We're happy to engage and talk with you there. And anything we can publicly exchange and go back and forth, we can talk about in the YouTube comment thread. But email, contact@web321.co, and we can help you out of your case of the disappearing web designer.
Always happy to help.